Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington, a show that no one can miss. Check
Hold up.
It's The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington. You can hear them right here. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Go! Check them out.
FS1.
Check them out.
FS1.
Sanchez rockets one out to right center. He admires his work, and he leaves the yard.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
Pitch to Connor Norby, ripped on the ground. That's a fair ball in the third base line. That got all the way into the corner. First pitch to Matt Mervis, left on left. He drills out to right and deep, and Mervis, 93 center cut, and Mervis did not miss it.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Well, nice job, Julian. Welcome live from Miami, Florida, inside Lone Depot Park on a Tuesday night. The roof is open. I probably wouldn't wear gray. It's 82 degrees, a little humid outside. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. Game 6 of 162, and tonight we bring you Game 2 of a 3-game NL East set between the 2-2 New York Mets and your 3-2 Miami Marlins. Happy April Fool's Day, but there will be no joking around with this matchup on the bump tonight. Kodai Senga will make his first regular season start in 249 days. After a lost 2024, Senga will strut out to kickstart his 2025 campaign. Senga will go opposite Sandy Alcantara, who makes start number 2 after going 4 2/3 on Thursday in Miami's opening day victory against the Pirates. It all starts at 6:40 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Well, hi, everyone. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Tuesday night with Jack McMullen and 4-time World Series champion Jeff Nelson. I'm Steven Strom. Got an awesome show for you ahead. We'll hear from Keith Rad, one of the voices of Mets Radio. We'll get you ahead to count with Sandy Alcantara and Kodai Senga. We'll get Nelly and Jack in the mix as well. We'll jump in for some back and forth. Our Expo question of the day at Marlins Radio and Steve's guarantee to victory. It is Sandy Day. Marlins manager Clayton McCullough was chatting this afternoon on what he's hoping to see from his ace, Sandy Alcantara, tonight versus the Mets.
I think it'd be nice like this start. I mean, the first one had so much emotion, so much build-up. For him, the adrenaline I'm sure he had coming, making his way back. Home, opening day, home opener. I'm sure there was a lot of emotion there. So, I think today for him, go through the, more feel like a normal start without some of that. He'll still be amped up. But, so I think today we just, build on, what was, for the most part, like a very solid first outing.
Is it a different vibe when Sandy's in the clubhouse, at least going and starting?
Yeah, I think we're fortunate to have a top of the rotation type arm on our team, and it just gives you the whole group a lot of confidence when he goes out there of what to expect, and other guys you get ready to go behind him. So when you have those types of pitchers like Sandy that have proven it over a long period of time, it puts in a sense of confidence in everybody. Kind of what you're going to get.
And for a guy that pitches to contact, how do you balance that line against a lineup like New York?
Well, I think he's just go up there and execute, right? And our guys behind him knowing Sandy does. When he's on right, he's going to get his fair share, high amount of ground balls, and guys playing behind him, is ready to make plays.
All right, so that was Marlins manager Clayton McCullough on Sandy Alcantara, who was rolling. 14 of the first 16 batters he faced against the Pirates on opening day retired. He was removed after each of the next 4 batters reached, and he was charged with 2 runs on 2 hits and 4 walks in that 4 2/3. But again, the Marlins did end up winning. Now, another number to look out for. Sandy Alcantara has not made consecutive starts with fewer than 5 innings since July of 2021. He wants to go out there and go the distance every time he takes the ball. Something to look out for. See if he can get to 5 innings here tonight against the Mets. We got a lot more ahead. Let's break. We'll have Keith Rad, one of the radio voices of the New York Mets. We'll break down everything you need to know for Game 2 of this 3-game set. Marlins looking to punch back right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
6 fielder's choice. Hill aboard in the first pitch to Nick Fortes. This line down the left field line. That gets in. It's a fair ball. Pham tracking that towards the wall. Hill can really motor. He's around third. Throw is late towards the plate, and it's an RBI double for the guy that cannot stop hitting. Nick Fortes, his third extra base hit in his third game, and the Marlins tied at 1 in the second. Pitch. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up, and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. A shot the other way on the day his dad is inducted. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th. 2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again.
Derek Hill here with us now. Third walk-off win. What the heck's going on?
Little fist frenzy out there. I'm going to call it that. Or a little Marlins mayhem, whatever you want to call it. But boys are just out here competing, just trying to show the world that we're not no pushover.
What are you trying to read out there on the bases, specifically when you're at third?
Honestly, at third, right there, we were seeing it through, but we do a bunch of early work, just getting those good reads. Got to credit the coaching staff for keeping us on point.
What was that moment like, seeing Griffin Conine hit that home run in front of his dad, who was inducted into the Legends Hall of Fame? Derek Hill, for our audience that are on radio, Connor Norby just gave him a nice water shower.
That's cool. No, I'm extremely happy for that.
Get it.
Well, you always walk into Lone Depot Park with a little bit more swag when you know Sandy Alcantara is on the mound. He will start for the second time here in 2025. He'll go opposite Kodai Senga. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. Marlins looking to bounce back after yesterday's defeat at the hands of the New York Mets. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, Jeff Nelson, those two have your call at 6:40, but they will join us in segment 4 for some back and forth. One of my favorites in the business, Keith Radd, Mets radio play-by-play broadcaster, tells us everything we need to know about the Mets and what to expect from Kodai Senga, who makes his return to the mound after a lost 2024. Okay, Keith, first day of April. What's your thought on April Fool's Day?
I'm going to take a sidebar here and say I hate it. I actually do not like April Fool's Day, especially when you're like the information gathering business.
Yes.
And you're on Twitter and you read stuff and you're like, and then you have to remember that it's April Fool's Day. So just get off Twitter. I just want this day to be done. And I love pranks and humor, but I hate it.
I would agree with that. And we have a serious with no humor pitching matchup. Really excited for this one. Kodai Senga and Sandy Alcantara. Ironically enough, we saw Kodai's first ever start here in Miami. What's the expectation with him? What's his limitations? What should we expect from Kodai here today?
Yeah, so Kodai Senga is certainly, in my opinion, probably the key, if we talk about a key for the Mets this year to do some really big things, because when he's right, as you saw in 2023, he's filthy. He's an ace. He was hurt all of last year. And so this year, they're really, really treating him with kid gloves, because knowing him, and last year when he was hurt, came back, got hurt again, and where's Senga? How far along is he? He said that this doesn't feel right or that doesn't feel right. And these are like minor things. So even he was almost a little bit kind of babying his body last year. So they are going very careful with him this year. I'm going to guess about 75 pitches today, and wherever he is at that moment, shut him down, just get one under his belt, because, last year when he made his start after getting hurt in July, he was throwing the ball great and then tweaked his calf at the end of the start, and he was back on the shelf until we saw him in the playoffs.
Is he the same sort of pitcher? Did he add any pitches going into this season?
He still has the ghost fork, that fork ball that many have called one of the best fork balls in the world. But no, nothing new for him this year. I do know that, from that first year, he threw some sweepers that got hit for homers, and he tried to work on cutters and sliders, just tuning something up like that, but nothing that's going to have a big name to it, at least not yet.
He'll go opposite Sandy Alcantara, and it is so good to have him back in a Marlins uniform, but it's also good for baseball to have Sandy back here tonight and make his first start against the Mets.
He's really good. You know, it's one of those things where the journalist is like, okay, as you prep for this game, man, you just really want to watch some of the best guys to do it. And he is, bar none, one of the best guys to do it. And, just happy that he's back. But it's going to be a great pitching matchup. Kodai Senga, Sandy Alcantara. I know you guys had Sandy and Skeens, right, opening day, which is awesome. But when Sandy's on, I mean, he's just powerful, right? He's just a big guy.
A throwback too.
Yeah, throws 100. Cy Young Award winner. I remember seeing him in the minor leagues when he was coming up with the Cardinals, and what he's doing now. He's at the peak of his game, and you just hope that the rust of anything from last year isn't really there.
Keith Rad with us now, one of the radio voices of the New York Mets. It would be irresponsible not to talk about the torpedo bat because, quite frankly, it's taken over baseball the last feels like 48 hours. But also, our field coordinator, Aaron Leanhart, was, I guess, the mastermind behind it. What's your take on the torpedo bat?
So I like it because, pitching is so advanced. It's insane. The high speed cameras, the grip artists, they have every metric, and hitters are just like, how do I do this better? These guys are light years ahead. And so if you have data that says, hey, you try to hit the barrel as much as you can, but you're hitting the ball this part of the bat, so we're just going to move the weight that we have over here over there. Okay, great.
Within the legalities.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm all for it. It's funny, we have Keith Hernandez who does TV. He doesn't like it. But part of what I think about some of the players who have played, they're going, I don't like it because I wish I had it when I was playing.
Right, exactly. 100%. I understand both sides of it, but I think you make a good point about the pitching because, we have the metrics. I mean, even here at Lone Depot Park, you look up there during batting practice, exit velo, launch angle, distance, fine. That's what you have as a hitter. But the horizontal break, all this kind of stuff, it feels like hitting has to at least try to catch up in this space.
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to just pitchers, Adam Ottavino, who we had for a couple of years, who's so cerebral as a relief pitcher, and he has said before, like, I don't know how hitters hit anything with some of the pitch shapes that just avoid bats. And yeah, I mean, if the hitter can have something, I mean, I don't want to see a 9 home run game every single game, but if a hitter gets an advantage where pitchers are getting an advantage, it kind of levels the playing field at least a little bit.
Good stuff, Keith. Thank you for the time.
Always good to see you, Stephen.
Not just good stuff, excellent stuff with Keith Rad, and a lot to chew off of there. And we'll do Senga here because that's really the main story tonight as he goes opposite Sandy Alcantara. Kodai Senga made one start last year, and what happens with these arms is you forget about him. He was outstanding in 2023. Okay, 12-7, a 2.98 ERA, 29 starts, 202 strikeouts, obviously a big milestone for any starting pitcher to go 200 plus Ks, and an all-star for the Mets in 2023. But how quickly you forget these guys when they do go to the shelf. Kodai Senga is going to have a lot of say in how far the Mets eventually go in the postseason and beyond. And it is just, he's a key cog for that team and that rotation in 2025. All right, a lot more to get to. We'll get you ahead of the count. That's coming up next. Sandy Alcantara and Kodai Senga. Awesome matchup on the mound. 6:40 first pitch. Back in 2 minutes on the Marlins Radio Network.
This guy slugged over 400, had a 290 batting average. He's kind of picking up where he left off last year. 1-0 pitch. Edwards hits that deep enough. Out to left. Ji-Hwan Bae underneath. He makes the catch. Fortes trying it. Ji-Hwan Bae's throw coming home, and it's a little bit offline. Fortes comes in to score, and he ties the game at 1. Inning. Runs may come in here in the 6th. Marlins threatening. And Derek Hill lines one out to right center field. Sawinski on his horse. He won't get there. That one hops over the wall, and it's an RBI double to tie the game at 2. Any ball in the outfield. X is scoring, and that one is soft liner into center for a base hit. X coming around. Cruz's throw is coming home, and the same mistake from opening day. Otto Lopez takes second base. X was scoring no problem. He can fly, and the opportunistic Otto Lopez not only ties this game, but is now in scoring position. Well, you've got Santa Rosa Junior College, 20th round pick of the Royals in 2016. And Sawinski cracks one out to left field. The newly inserted left fielder Conine is back. Warning track and the wall. He leaps. Griffin Conine makes the grab. You're kidding me. He took a homer away from Sawinski. Pitch, that's rolled right side, that's through for a base hit. Pham gonna try it from third. Throw coming home from Myers. It's on line. Hicks swipes the tag, and they got him. No! In the bottom of the seventh, it's an RBI single from Otto Lopez to tie it at 3. 1-2 pitch, that's rolled right side, that's through for a base hit. Pham gonna try it from third. Throw coming home from Myers. It's on line. Hicks swipes the tag.
Details.
Hey, this is Anthony Bender, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio.
Well, thank you, Anthony Bender. Marlins looking to bounce back after a 10-4 defeat yesterday in Game 1 of this 3-game set with the New York Mets. Awesome to have Sandy Alcantara back on the mound for the second time in 2025. He'll go opposite Kodai Senga, 6:40 first pitch right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Some tidbits for you as well. Yuri Perez threw a live today. Jack and I were down on the field. It looks like he could pitch today. I mean, it's to see a guy at 6'8" with that stride, with that velo, it's just going to be exciting whenever he does come back here in 2025. But let's get into our matchup on the mound here tonight. We'll start with Kodai Senga, 32-year-old right-hander in year 3 of that $5 million, or that rather 5-year, $75 million deal with the New York Mets. And we talked about it. It was a lost 2024, just one game after making the All-Star team in 2023. He was awesome in 23, 12-7, a 2.98 ERA, 29 starts, 200-plus strikeouts, made it to an All-Star team. And, of course, last year, the lost year. In spring, he made 3 starts. He threw a lot on the backfields, combined just 9 innings in regular play. But Senga did a lot of his work on the backfields this spring. Career against the Marlins, his numbers are astounding. 3-0, a 2.42 ERA, 22 1/3 innings pitched over 4 starts. We actually saw Senga for the first time in his career at Lone Depot Park in 2023. It was his first ever start in the show. We know about the Ghost Fork. 23% of the time he threw it in 23. 110 opponent batting average. It's filthy. We'll see what the Marlins' plan of action is against that forkball against Senga here tonight. Senga will go opposite 29-year-old right-hander who makes his second start of the season, Sandy Alcantara. He took a no decision on Thursday against Pittsburgh. He allowed 2 runs on 2 hits, 4 walks across 4 2/3. We talked about it. Thursday, he was rolling. Sandy Alcantara retired 14 of his first 16 batters he faced and then ran into some trouble in the 5th. He threw 91 pitches. He generated 16 swinging strikes. He punched out 7. It was his first start in 571 days. Got up to 100 miles per hour in that start against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Career-wise, against the Mets, 3-5, a 3 ERA in 15 starts. Big number for Sandy tonight. He has not made consecutive starts with fewer than 5 innings pitched since July of 2021. So that's your matchup on the mound. Should be a quick game. Get your popcorn ready. Senga and Sandy on 640. We'll break here. Jack and Nelly will join us next right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Just unleash. First pitch. Mervis takes upstairs. That pops off the catcher Bart's glove. And everybody up 90 feet, including Xavier Edwards, who comes in to score. For these violent swingers. 1-2. Otto lines one into right center. That's in for a base hit. Stowers around third. He will score no problem. Cruz's throw is coming home. It was on the fly there. And the throw to second is late to try and get Lopez, but he's in there. Pitch from Holderman. That one lined up the gut. That's in for a base hit. Otto around third. He's coming home. Cruz has no throw this time. And Dane Myers with an RBI single ties this game at 4 in the 8th. Second and third, nobody out. In the 0-2. Stowers rips down the right field line. That gets in, and the ball game is over. Kyle Stowers with a line shot down the right field line, and it's a walk-off winner for the Fish on opening day. Sanoha taps the plate. The Marlins mob Stowers in right center field. They rip off the jersey.
All right, with the hero here, or one of the heroes, Kyle Stowers. Take me through the AB.
Yeah, I just felt like runner on third, no outs, just trying to get that run in. And first 2 pitches kind of was babying it, just trying to be too fine with it. And so, for me, it was that last pitch was just kind of letting it go.
What a way to start opening day, huh? You get a walk-off home run, you get Sandy back, Clayton McCullough's first managerial win. What's this been like?
Yeah, huge congratulations to Clayton. first win as a manager. Awesome to get that for him out of the first game. It's just a lot of fun. A group that, maybe people don't have a ton of expectations with, but that's fun. That's great. We believe in ourselves, and that's all that matters.
How good does this feel for you personally, man? I know you came over from Baltimore. You struggled a little bit. You started to figure
Roofers. Tell them Jimmy Seffel told you to call. Pioneer Roofing, 786-ROOFERS, or visit pioneerroofingcompany.com.
3-2 pitch. That one in there for a called third strike. 99 on the outside black. And Sandy Alcantara is back on the mound in Miami.
Well, that was one of his 7 punch-outs on Thursday. Sandy Alcantara making his first start in 2025 post-Tommy John surgery. Excited to see what number 2 has in store for us. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Jeff Nelson. And Nelly, let me start here with Sandy. I've said the stat a couple of times. He has not made consecutive starts with fewer than 5 frames since July of 21. How does he make sure he's on the right side of that history tonight?
Fastball command is one. You look at the last couple innings, the 4th and in the 5th, a lot of off speed because that fastball was moving so much. That 2-seamer had a lot of ride into righties, away to lefties. So I think fastball command is one. I think the first 3-4 innings he was outstanding. I just think it's fastball command. And early strikes, he got into some deep counts, maybe a lot of emotions. First time being out there in, 571 days?
Yep.
So that had a lot to do with it. I'm sure he's just settled down nicely tonight, and it'll be like old hat.
So is everything good with the mic over there? We all good over there with the headset?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
I'm adjusting because you're
sure.
very loud in my
I'm
ear.
excited.
You're like screaming, and my ears are starting to bleed.
I am so excited. I'm going to keep you again. I actually have multiple questions for you, Jack. I only got one for you, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to save that voice. We know Sandy likes to pitch to contact, but how can he toe that line tonight against an experienced and contact-driven lineup in New York?
Well, it's going to be a different lineup, obviously, than Pittsburgh. It's going to be a lot stronger lineup. When you have Soto, you're going to have Lindor in that lineup, and Alonso, who is really starting to get off to a good start, had a big grand slam yesterday. So it's getting ahead with your fastball, but that changeup is going to have to play a big part tonight. The slider and the breaking ball, I still think it's a work in progress. I think it's enough sometimes to get you off the fastball on a weaker team like the Pirates, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get them off with a lineup like the Mets. So I think the changeup fastball combination, maybe mix in the breaking ball just to show, but we're going to tell in the first couple innings if he has command of the fastball. If all of a sudden that's riding all over the place, then you're going to see him go back to that slider curveball like he did in the 4th and 5th inning against the Pirates.
Let's make a quick bullpen change. Let's bring in Jack McMullen right now. Let's go offense, Jack. One guy I'm looking out for in the lineup is Matt Mervis. He struggled on Thursday. He K'd 3 times. He got a hit in his next start, but he has not played since Friday. Where's Merv at, and what's his workload looked like the last couple days?
Yeah, I think Merv is in a pretty good spot, to be honest, right now. And it's weird to say because he's sat the last 3 days, and he has not been one of those situational lefties off the bench in a pinch hit spot or, as a defensive replacement. Obviously, you're going to turn to a Conine or Stowers if you need some outfield defense, and that guy, provides a little bit more defensive versatility than a Mervis, who is pretty much just shoehorned into first base. But this guy, he told me this new state-of-the-art pitching machine the Marlins have, the Traject machine. He said he's seen more pitches on his off days gearing up for possible relievers than he has when he typically gets ready for a game.
Wow,
so
good nugget.
He's been hitting a lot so far the last 3 days, and he said, and then he dialed it back a little bit. He said, hitting in real life is easier than hitting off the trajectory. And he said, no, it's different because it's a 2-dimensional guy, and you can actually see depth in person. So I think he's in a really good spot, and I was talking to him. He homered in the exhibition game. He hit a ball really, really hard this weekend against, I want to say, Mitch Keller, and he said that's the kind of confidence he needed after that rough end of spring, but it seems like Merv is back.
He's back in the lineup. He'll bat, clean up, and play first. One of 5 lefties in the lineup. A little bit surprised. Thought they go a little bit more lefty-heavy, but what the heck do I know? Back to you, Nelly. This forkball that we know Kodai Senga throws, last 2023 threw it 23% of the time, 110 against batting average. What does that forkball look like, and what's the plan of action if you're the Marlins offense with that pitch?
He's going to use it, and he didn't use it much in spring, but he is definitely going to use it. He has the cutter, slider, and curveball to go along. Slider, curveball, he really doesn't throw a whole lot. His fastball is really good. He throws a lot of strikes. you are taking their approach that they worked on in spring training as far as taking more pitches, being more patient at the plate. But when you have a guy like Senga and you're going to have to gear into him early, if he's pumping fastballs for strikes and that wipeout pitch is that fork, you better be aggressive and start jumping all over first pitch fastballs or early count fastballs, because if you get to that fork ball, it's almost unhittable.
It'll be interesting to see the Marlins' offensive approach. Of course, Senga making his first start in 25, made just one last year. Fatigue could also be an issue. We talked about the plate discipline of Miami. Will they see pitches? Will they attack Kodai Senga early on in the count? We shall see. Thank you very much, Jeff Nelson and Jack McMullen. We'll hear them at 6:40. Let's break. We'll get to our X-Poll question, Steve's guarantee, and then we'll play some baseball right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
6 fielder's choice. Hill aboard in the first pitch to Nick Fortes. This line down the left field line. That gets in. It's a fair ball. Pham tracking that towards the wall. Hill can really motor. He's around third. Throw is late towards the plate, and it's an RBI double for the guy that cannot stop hitting. Nick Fortes, his third extra base hit in his third game, and the Marlins tied at 1 in the second pitch. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up, and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. A shot the other way on the day his dad is inducted. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th. 2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again.
Derek Hill here with us now. Third walk-off win. What the heck's going on?
Little fist frenzy out there. I'm going to call it that. Or a little Marlins mayhem, whatever you want to call it. But boys are just out here competing, just trying to show the world that we're not no pushover.
What are you trying to read out there on the bases, specifically when you're at third?
Honestly, at third, right there, we were seeing it through, but we do a bunch of early work, just getting those good reads. Got to credit the coaching staff for keeping us on point.
What was that moment like, seeing Griffin Conine hit that home run in front of his dad, who was inducted into the Legends Hall of Fame? Derek Hill for our audience.
That will keep the little ones entertained while you enjoy world-class golf and spas. We are the original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
About 14 minutes away from first pitch, game 2 of this 3-game NL East Clash between the Miami Marlins and New York Mets. New York edged out the Marlins in game 1. Miami looking to bounce back here, punch back in game 2 with their ace Sandy Alcantara, who makes his second start of the season, going opposite Kodai Senga. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, Jeff Nelson, those two have your call coming up shortly. Let's get to our X-Poll question of today at Marlins Radio. When I do these questions, I say them during the show. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm just making sure that you're listening. Sandy Alcantara has not made consecutive starts with fewer than 5 innings pitched. Okay, when was the last time that occurred? Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. It's time for Steve's Guarantee.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
Either I'm very gullible or Jack McMullen is pretty good at this, because I'm all in on Matt Mervis getting an extra base hit here this afternoon, or tonight rather. What I like about this, I like when guys actually have the last couple of days off. They're able to reset. They're able to look at whatever they need to look at. They're able to get into the trajectory and prepare. And then you're getting into a situation with Kodai Senga, who might be a little bit rusty. I think this is a good matchup for Matt Mervis. Like him with an extra base hit. He'll bat fourth and play first base here tonight. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch, because when we come back, Jack McMullen, he paints the picture. Jeff Nelson, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami. Marlins baseball is next. This is the Marlins Radio Network.
80